Final Cut Pro can do thousands of things to your clips, but you have to tell it which clip or group of clips you're targeting. In other words, you have to select something. As we all know, the simplest way to select a thing is to click it. And it's highlighted, awaiting instructions. You can extend the selection by holding the Shift key and clicking down range. The target of the second click and everything in between is highlighted. You can make non-contiguous selections by holding the Command key. Command clicking is a habit you want to acquire quickly. It allows you to make non-contiguous deselections as well. And the ability to select and deselect any items in your timeline, regardless of their proximity, is essential. You can select everything in a sequence by hitting Command A, and deselect everything by either clicking on the timeline background or hitting Command Shift A. Final Cut Pro has 3 slots in the tool palette for selection tools. At the top is the default selection tool, which you can always return to by hitting the A key. With it, you can select any media clip in the timeline, marquee select multiple clips, select an edit point between 2 clips. You can even select the gap between 2 clips, allowing you to close the gap with the delete key. Below the default selection tool, you'll find what I call the G selectors, because the G key is the shortcut for accessing them. Hit G once for the Edit Selection tool, which can only select edit points. Final Cut only lets you select 1 edit point per track, but this tool lets you marquee select multiple edit points if they are on different tracks. We'll cover tracks and working with edit points in a later lesson. Hit G twice for the Group Selection tool, which allows you to marquee select multiple contiguous items. The default selection tool does the same thing, but requires you to start your marquee outside the clip boundary in an empty space. With the Group Selection tool, you can start your marquee drag inside the clip boundary, a benefit when working with multiple stacked tracks. Hit G 3 times for the Range Selection tool. The other tools can only select a clip in its entirety. The Range Selection tool allows partial selection of clips. You just have to start your drag inside the clip boundary, which makes it great for working inside densely packed tracks. It only works on a single track at a time and can't be modified with the Shift or Command keys like selections made with the other tools. The next slot on the tool palette holds the track selection tools, which you can think of as T selectors, because all of them are accessed with the T key. Hit T once for the Track Forward tool. The right arrow indicates selection of all clips on a given track to the right of your click. Click the timeline background to deselect. Hit T twice for the Track Backward tool. The left arrow indicates selection of all clips left of your click. Hit T 3 times for the Select Track tool. The double arrow indicates clip selection in both directions. These tools, and the remaining 2 with the stacked arrows, will make more sense when we're working with multiple tracks in a later lesson, so we'll be coming back to them. We'll discuss video filters at length in a later lesson, but we're going to touch on them here to demonstrate how Final Cut interprets a selection when you haven't highlighted anything. A filter simply changes the appearance of your clip, like a piece of colored glass in front of the camera lens. It distorts or enhances whatever you're looking at. They are incredibly powerful tools that, with proper use, can make or break a project. Some are subtle, some are grotesque nearly to the point of uselessness. Let's play with one that's somewhere in between. In the timeline, click on the rear logo clip to select it, and park the playhead over it. Now go to Effects, Video Filters, Distort, and select Pond Ripple. The effect is quite obviously applied to the selected clip. Hit Command Z to undo, and click the timeline background to deselect. Now park your playhead over the wide clip. Note that nothing is highlighted. In the Effects menu, the most recently applied filter is at the top of the list. select it to apply. As it does with replace edits, in the absence of a selection, Final Cut interprets the clip boundaries on either side of the playhead as a default selection. It doesn't work this way with all commands, say delete or copy and paste. Hit Command Z to undo. Now park the playhead over the front speed clip, and hit X to set a sequence in and out around it. Now let's get tricky. Slide the sequence in marker halfway into the previous clip. Notice the brighter blue between the in and out markers. Now select Pond Ripple. Final Cut reads the sequence in and out as your selection and applies the effect accordingly, including the partial second clip. Hit Command Z to undo. Now all of these apparent quirks and hidden tools can be kind of overwhelming when you're starting out with Final Cut Pro, but the more you apply them, the more they make sense. They weren't just concocted by sadistic programmers to make your life confusing and miserable. Many of them were developed based on feedback and requests from editors who use the application every day. There really is a reason for it all. Just keep using the tools.